The bad news is not everybody's going to make it. I hate to break it to you, but that's just how it is. Am I right or am I wrong? I want to welcome everybody who's watching us. We have a new Facebook live, a new Facebook group. So we want to welcome our Facebook group and thank you for joining us. You're at the Choose the Change Foundation. My name's Orlando Salinas. I am the CEO and founder of this organization called the Choose the Change Foundation. And every single time you walk into these rooms, you will learn something, I promise. I put a lot of time and effort into helping, into exhorting, into teaching, into learning myself so that I can come here and help you in your journey of life, faith, business, marriage, wherever you're going in life. I want to help you. And that's what we're here today for, so I can help you. You know, we've been going through by the way, I already have my banners. I think I'm going to put them up tomorrow. Both these sayings right here are going to be put up there. And we're going to hopefully put my projector up. And we're getting ready to learn, to grow, to move forward. So let's get started. Who remembers what we've been doing? Anybody? What I've been teaching? No, I've been teaching about the 15 laws of growth. The 15 laws of personal growth. And listen, I'm learning a lot myself. I'm going through a series by John Maxwell. Who knows who John Maxwell is? You ought to look him up if you want to learn more about leadership. John Maxwell is the man to look up and to learn about leadership. Let me put this. I'm going to be all wired up today again. In any case, we've been going through this series. And I'm really enjoying this series because I'm going through it myself. I've literally paid for this series to learn myself so I can come teach you guys. It's called the 15 Laws of Personal Growth. I've gone through 4 of them already. The first one was the law of intentionality. In other words, you have to be intentional about your life change, about growth, about business, about marriage. If you want to get good at anything, you have to be intentional. The second one is the law of awareness. You have to be aware of where you are in life today. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of who you are. Start asking questions about where you're at in life. The law of awareness. Number 3 was the law of the mirror. Looking at yourself. Examining yourself. Your goals. Your ideas. And looking in the mirror. And being brutally honest with yourself. Of who you are and where you're going. That was the law of the mirror. Last week was the law of consistency. Number 4. That if you're going to get good at anything, right? Makes sense. You have to be consistent. And today I'm going to talk about the law of design. It's a very fun, I like this law when I started learning it. It's called the law of design. And the law of design says like this. In order to maximize personal growth, you must develop strategies. In order to maximize personal growth, you must develop strategies. So remember, we're talking about personal growth, about growing, right? Because if you don't want to go nowhere, then you don't even need to be here. But if you want to grow in life, which I've come to believe that so many of us need that. We need growth. We need change. We need strategy. According to this law, you need to start designing it. Jim Rohn, the great business philosopher, put it like this. If you don't design or plan your life, chances are you will fall into someone else's plan. And who remembers, what do you think they have planned for you?
Not much.
You'll fall into the not much list. Right? Let me help you understand that. What do you have planned for your neighbors? What do you have planned for your family, for your friends? What do you have planned for your enemy? Not much. So guess what other people have planned for you? Then who has to plan it then? You do. And that's what we talk about in here, right? I always talk about that. That you have to plan. You have to be the leader in your family as a man. You have to be the one that wakes up and does what you have to do. You have to be the one. Because the law of design is all about planning and designing your own life. Some people want to leave it all up to God. Do you think that's a good idea? That's a trick question, right? You're like, okay, wait a minute. Do I say yes or no? No, you can't leave it all up to God. He's not going to do it all for you. He already did his part. Does that make sense? No, he left the rest up to you. Most people spend more time designing their vacation, right? Than they do designing their own life. And for good reason. You know, if you're like me, I mean, nobody ever told me about designing your life. Cálmate. What do you mean design your life, right? I mean, who learned that? Who learned that? I didn't. Or maybe I wasn't listening when I went to school. Maybe they tried to help me, right? But I wasn't listening. Terco el muchacho. But design, I never thought about that. What do you mean design your own life? You ever thought about that, Chavarria? No, right? What do you mean design your own life? I didn't know. This is powerful stuff. The law of design. So what does this mean? Design your life. How does it work? Where do you start? See, believe it or not, this is the whole idea of Choose to Change. To give you some information to help you grow. And I think that today you're really going to get a little bit more focused on where you're going and how to get there. You all ready? The law of design. So in order to maximize personal growth, the law says, you must develop strategies. In order to maximize growth, you must develop strategies. So let's start there. In order to grow, get better at something in your marriage, right? In your business, in your job, with your art, whatever it is you're doing. In order to get better, you have to develop some strategies. So let's start there. Strategies. What are some strategies for personal growth? And here's really what we really want to talk about today. I looked up the word strategies. Anybody want to tell me what the word strategy means? See, because we hear it, we kind of know what it means, but what does it mean? Anybody want to give it a shot? What does strategy mean? Plan? Plans? ¿Cómo? No, that's strategy is more of ideas, processes, systems, strategies. I looked it up. Check this out. I'm going to give you 3 definitions. And I want you to listen to these definitions and see where you see a common thread. You all ready? Here's one. According to Google, strategies is a plan of action or policy designed to achieve a major goal or aim. Did y'all get that? Listen to the second one. Strategy is the art of planning and directing overall a military operation and movement in war and in battle. So it comes from the battlefield, that word. Here's the third one. A plan for military operations and movement during a war or battle. So there's a couple of things you could probably see that there's one word that sticks out of each definition. Anybody want to? Plan. And that's what caught my attention. Strategies, it's about planning. Erasmo, you're about to get married. Praise God. Eh? Congratulations. Yeah. Erasmo's about to get married. And guess who's going to be his best man? Just guess. I'm excited about that. There you go. That's it. You know, I'm excited about that. Because I'm a part of growth, of something bigger and better. Just part of this stuff. But planning, planning is part of personal growth. You have to be planning. It doesn't just happen. It's not automatic. So what kinds of strategies or plans can we develop in order to maximize our life, to make our life better? Let's talk about that. That's what I want to help you out with today. Strategies and plans for your better future. So a personal growth strategies is about planning and thinking ahead. We can say that? Personal growth strategies is about planning and thinking ahead. Fair enough? So let's talk about that for a minute. So what areas do you want to grow in? Let me ask you a couple of questions. What areas do you think you need growth in? Or maybe we should ask it this way. What areas should you be growing in? Let me give you examples. Because when I first heard this kind of stuff, I didn't get it. Strategies, goals. I was in prison. Think about that for a minute. Let me give you an example. What areas? Marriage. Might be a good idea to read books on marriage. I'm serious. Family, raising kids, there's a lot of great books. Parenting, you can learn. Nowadays it's easier, videos, YouTube. You can learn. Business, right? Health, learn more about your health. I've learned a little bit more about my health. Finances, faith, your faith. So there's areas that we need to grow in. Would you agree? So then, I was thinking about this other day, and there's no time in the day to get yourself in trouble if you focus on just growth. There's so much to do. I get home at night, I'm still going to go do something after I leave here. I work 16-hour days. At least that seems like it. I go to bed at 10. I try to get there at 9. But I wind up going to bed at 11. Because there's always something to do. Because I can't sleep thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow. But let's talk about this. Strategies for personal growth in your life. Let's take these examples. Let's take your health. What is a good strategy for health? Well, maybe you can start walking daily. Right? That's a strategy. You start walking daily. Maybe you start eating better. See, that's a strategy. That's a plan. If you just work on those two alone, just those two alone, right? What about finances? What about your strategy for a better financial situation? What strategies can you use for that? Watch your spending. I watch it every day. Gaste. Right? No, but seriously, we got to learn to budget. And that's one of the hardest, I don't know about you, that's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I don't even know if I know how to do it. Budgeting. Just make more money. That's what I thought. Learn how to budget. Learn how to save. I've learned that at least a little bit. Pero se va el savings para arriba y luego se va para abajo otra vez. Y luego se va para arriba y luego se... But my point, you all get the point, right? We need to learn some things. There's some things very important. You can't just... God's not going to save the money for you. But talking about money, giving. That's a good strategy. Some people don't think so, but good strategy for financial is giving and saving. What about business? Maybe, or your career. What kind of strategies can you implement to be a better businessman? Maybe taking some classes. You're here. Training. Personal growth classes like Choose to Change. How about reading books on business? Right? Educating yourself. It's a strategy. Here's another one. Another area where we're talking about areas in life. Your spiritual growth. That's huge. Right? So what kind of strategies? Most of us in here that I can look have developed a strategy for spiritual growth. Come to church, right? Consistently. Sunday school. Some of us go to Sunday school. Fellowship. Many of us love to fellowship. So you work on your strategy for weight in fellowships. Service, you serve, right, in your church. So, strategies for personal growth and moving forward in life. What about marriage? That's a good one. Making time for your wife. Maybe I need to work on that. Reading books on marriage. The other day I picked up a book. I haven't finished it. Ahí está en la orilla de la cama. But it caught my attention. I had heard of it before. But now I kind of understand the title of the book. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. You know, we're two different monsters. And we have to learn to get along. You know? She's not better than you, but you're not better than her. We have to learn. I didn't know that. I thought I was better. It was called pride. It was called pride. I had to learn that. I had to learn. So you all getting this? Personal growth, strategies for personal growth. I just gave you some examples of finances, career, spiritual, marriage. You know, I teach this, I do this teaching. Anybody have anything here? Want to say something real quick? Want to have a question? Anybody? Is it helping anybody? You know, talking about strategies, I do this teaching, this sermon that's called the 3 Keys to Greatness. When I heard that title, it was I heard it from Darren Hardy. He's a business philosopher, business guy. And he taught this, the 3 Keys to Greatness. And I thought, wow, I want to know that. So I went to the seminar. And he gave 3 keys. He says, number 1, everybody needs mentors, coaches, and trainers. Second, you need to learn. We all need help. The second was associations. That one threw me over. That threw me for a loop. Associations, I never thought that was a key ingredient in personal growth and success in life and overcoming in life. It has a lot to do with your friends. In fact, that teaching, and I teach it today, and I know it to be true today, 95% of your success or your failure in life, in marriage and finances, will be directly related to the friends you have. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Powerful. But the reason I'm telling you that is because the last key was strategies, systems, and processes. That we have to learn to implement these things into our lives. There has to be systematic about personal growth, about life change. You have to be, like we started this class, intentional about moving forward in life. Yeah? I heard someone put it like this. Check this out. A system is like a highway that will get you where you want to go faster than if you took the back roads. Right? And a better chance of not getting lost. So if you have a system, right, that'll take you somewhere faster, or should I say that then you're going to get there. Okay, let me say that again. A system is like a highway that'll get you there faster. So let me give you an example. Well, here's another one. Another person said like this: systems or strategies permit ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. See, that's why as Christians, if we continue to grow in Jesus Christ, in the Lord, we continue to nurture our faith, then we're going to get stronger in many areas of our life, right? In our marriage, in our business, in our career, friendships, systems, or strategies permit ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. Once you start understanding this law of design, you start making better decisions for your life. In every area of life. You start making changes in your lifestyle. You start thinking differently. You start in your business, in your marriage. The bottom line here is that if you want a better life experience, if you want to grow, you must start designing your own life. So, let me close. I hope you're learning something. Let me close. Check this out. You're going to like this. You're going to like this. Because how do you think I learned all this? I'm going to give you at least 3 things that are involved in designing your life. At least 3 things, so I can help you move forward. We talked about strategy, we talked about areas, but let me give you 3 things. Let me give you a perspective. Number 1, the big picture. You have to have the big picture in mind as you move forward in life. What does that mean? If you're going to design a better future for you and your family, which is what we're doing this for as men, we want to design a better future for ourselves and for our families. You must keep the big picture in mind. According to John Maxwell, which is the author of this training that I'm doing, he says that most always, not always, but most always, the biggest separator between success, or having success in your life, and failing is the size of the big picture. Some people, before I say that, let me ask you this. The big picture has to do with vision. It has to do with where you're going in life. It has to do with what you want in life. He says the reason why so many people fail or are lonely and miserable is because the only thing they saw in their big picture was them. They only saw them. It has to do with selfishness. It has to do with me, 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 me. Who used to be like that? I used to be like that. It was all about me. It was all what I could get, what could make me feel good, what I needed. It was all about me. So the big picture was a big portrait of me. All right? What do you see in your big picture? See, we're talking about personal growth, moving forward in life. The big picture is important. So the big picture has to do with vision and goals and plans, right? But not just for you. Now, you can do that. A lot of people do that. That's why you have a lot of people driving these nice cars and Mercedes and big houses, and because they're focused on them, right? And that's okay if that's what you want. But I've learned, out of all the books I've read, I've heard and researched years, 22 years, that the most successful people, the most happy people, are people who are helping others. And that's what I wanted to do. People who are focused on giving, learning, teaching. So let me give you an example of the big picture. Check this out. When I was in prison, this is where it all started for me. I started learning this very thing in prison. When I was in prison, I started learning about goals. Nobody ever told me about goals. And if they did, I no hice caso. Goals? Goals? What do you mean goals? But in prison, I started learning about this. Check this out. I found out that if I was going to have any kind of success, remember, I knew I was going to walk out of prison at the age of 40. So then I learned through books, here's one of them, through books, which is one of my strategies, reading. I learned that if I was going to have any kind of success in life, I was going to have to learn how to set goals. I learned that success wasn't going to just happen. So let me tell you what my big picture looked like when I was in prison. It had at least 3 things. And here's what my big picture looked like. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to be a good father, a good husband, and a good leader. In prison. See, that's why I'm able to do what I do today. Because 22 years ago, I started thinking about this. It's hard for people to imagine that I used to put a needle in my arm full of cocaine. It's hard for people to imagine that. Isn't it? Isn't it for you, Erasmo?
Yeah, for you, now that I know it, yeah.
It's hard for people to see that. But that's who I was. So when I was in prison, my big picture was that I wanted something better for my life. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to give my life to something worthwhile. This is why I'm so excited about being here with you guys. Because I get to give of my life. And I wanted to be a better Christian. So I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to be a good husband, father, and leader. And I wanted to be a good Christian. So what was my strategy to do that? Remember, that's the picture, but we're talking about strategies. And it's real simple. I started reading books. See, I'm about to show you that I started this many, many years ago. I started reading books on a daily basis. I read about business. I read about family. I read about marriage. I read about raising kids. I read about fatherhood, personal development. And I had church activity. That's what I did. I found this letter. And it's addressed to you, Diana. This is 332K. 20 years ago. Is that it? 20 years ago. Yeah, right? It's 2000? Man, feeling old. 20 years ago. Mira, para que miren el little design que hacía yo en prison. ¿Eh? ¿Qué hubo? Little design. 34, 35, 43, Ellis unit. Wrote to my sister. Remember, we're talking about design, big picture. Listen to what I said. Well, I just had to get that out of my heart. I don't know. I told her something up here about being strong, that I love you, that I'm proud of you. You truly are very special to me, and I just wanted to let you know, as you might know, I wrote to Mandy and Rudy. I didn't know what to say. Okay, where is it? Where am I? Better give me a minute. Give me a minute. As for me, I said, check this out. Here's what I'm saying. It's a letter to my sister. As for me, I'm doing fine. My life is moving along very smoothly. I'm in prison, remember. But believe me, it's not by accident. I've been working very hard on my goals and plans for my future. 20 years ago. Or should I say, our future. And in parentheses, Isabel and my girls. For the last 2 years, I've been working on my 5-year goals. In prison. My 5-year goal plan. For when I get out. See, this is why I can do what I do today. Along with my 10 and 15-year long-term goal. This year, for instance, I'm working on what is called a business plan. I walked out of prison with a business plan. Think about that. Because I had strategy. I was working on some things. If you know anything about business, you might know that this is what this is. Anyways, I'm hoping to have it completed by June or July, and I'll send you a copy to give you a good idea of what I'm planning. In fact, if this, check this out, business plan proves to be what I hope it will be, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me give you a quick rundown of this business plan. It consists of 5 parts, or 4. Marketing plan, financial plan, management plan, and business description. That's what I was doing in prison. See, I didn't know that I was going to be able to be successful. I didn't know that I was going to have the success that I have today. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. But I was planning, and I had the big picture. I didn't have nobody encouraging me. I didn't have nobody telling me, go on, son, you're doing a great job. And this is why I tell people I had to force myself to believe in the impossible. It goes on to say, when I said that everything seems to be falling into place, one of the things that I meant was that when I first found out that my business plan was, and how very important it was to starting your own business, I was very surprised and awed to find out that these topics were exactly what I've been studying for at least the last 2 years. I had already been studying. It's all coming together for me when I got a hold of this book called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. to being an entrepreneur. It's powerful stuff. And guess what? There's no stopping me now. This is why this stuff is so important. So that you can continue growing, Chavarria. So that you can keep believing, Frank. So that you can have a better future. The big picture. Isn't that powerful? That was the first thing. The second thing was having priorities. Put some priorities in your life. And the third thing was being organized. I didn't have time to go through all those. But I think you get the picture. Right? So let me just stop right there and see if anybody has anything to say. I'm going to go ahead and pass our donation bucket around. Remember, guys, if you don't have to give, it's just to help us as we move forward.